everybody, and welcome to the SLSLM Hangout, exclusive sessions for the members of the Sri Lankan Society of Lifestyle Medicine. This is episode number 7. So we've had 7 sessions as of today, and we are so glad that all of you could join us despite the difficulties in the weather. So today we're going to explore a new topic, and that is all about balancing exercise with a busy lifestyle. It's a problem that probably most of us are having. So to talk to us about it, we have a very special person. So this is Gihani. She's Gihani Jayavira. She's a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences in the General Sir John Kotalawala Defence University. She's also a lifestyle medicine certified professional in the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine. Not just that, she's also a registered veterinary surgeon, a licensed Zumba instructor, and one of the latest board members of the SLSLM. Hi, Gihani, how are you today?
Hi, Rasari. I'm really good and thank you for that introduction. So, how are you? Hope like you're having a good day and we have others joining as well. So, I hope good evening to everyone. I hope everybody is having a good day today.
I am having a good day. It was a bit sunny in the morning after a very rainy kind of week or two. And suddenly now we're back to raining again, but it's been nice. So good to have you here. So what do you have for us today?
Yeah, shall I share my presentation to
Sure.
start with?
Sure.
So I have really a kind of exciting topic to share with y'all today. Finding fitness, balancing exercise, and a busy lifestyle. So basically, when it comes to this topic, this is something that all people know, all people talk about, but when it comes to actually doing it, most people they are very reluctant on this particular aspect, balancing exercise and their lifestyles or the day-to-day schedules. So before I start, just want to ask from our audience and from Rasari, so you had, if you go back to last few days, how many of y'all like hit the gym or any sort of a did the sport or any sort of group fitness session or that kind of a exercise? Like if you think about last 5 days, like how is it going on? Is it something that has happened within last 5 days, or is it something that has not happened on that frequent basis?
Yeah. Any answers from our audience?
So I go to the gym Monday to Friday and sometimes at the weekend. So if I don't go, like I have to go, but it's something I enjoy.
Very nice. That's Chinti, right? Very
Yeah.
nice, Chinti. We are on the same boat.
Yeah.
That's wonderful to hear people enjoy exercise.
Yes.
Do we have anybody else who wants to share their exercise routines and know how frequently they exercise with us?
How about you, Rasari?
For me, I was trying to avoid the question and putting me on the spot. I have my yo-yo effect, but I try to somehow meet my 150 minutes, and I meet it about 90% of the time. Sometimes it is 120 minutes, and I try not to, be too upset about it. Maybe just one strength training a week. But I think I'm yet to find an exercise that I enjoy because it's become something that I kind of wake up in the morning and do and get it over with. So yeah, so there's a lot to explore there. What about you, Gihani? Like,
Yeah, so
What
today,
gets you motivated?
yeah, that's very nice to hear that somehow you are trying to meet 150 minutes per week guideline. And I hope once we do the session today, you may come up with different options so that you will get a chance to choose something that you like to do as an exercise. So basically, if I tell you about myself, right, this is not to boast about myself or anything, right? So just to show you that how I fit into talk about this topic, because when it comes to the balancing of exercise and the busy lives, like most people have this doubt whether this is practically possible, right? So this is me balancing multiple careers in a efficient way. Uh, and then doing my social responsibilities as a elder daughter of the family, and having a very kind of a fair social life. So while managing all those things, still I manage to do the exercise on regular basis. Like you said, there are some like time to time there are some inconsistencies, but like on regular basis always try to do at least 2 or more days of Zumba fitness, and definitely 3 days of gym sessions per week. So basically, for 5 days of the week, somehow among my busy schedule, I find time to do some form of exercise that keeps me going on along with this busy schedule. So this is how it goes for me, because the main reason, like Shinti said, I'm also a person who love exercise, who love gymming, who like to do it. So that dedicating this time is like I do it with my whole heart. I do it really happily. So I never try to escape this time. Always I'm looking forward for this time so that it keeps me going on a kind of a consistent schedule with the exercise. So this is how I balance my um, busy life and my exercise schedules.
That's wonderful. You got a bit of applause there from the audience, from Dr. Dushi. So thank you for that, Dr. Dushi. That's must be very encouraging to see that. And this is wonderful. So if I ask you what kind of yeah, so Dr. Dushi, I mean, if you have a question now, you can raise your hand and we can periodically, take a pause and address those questions also. Yeah, you have a question? Yes, so please unmute yourself and you can ask us a question.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Hello, yes, we can.
Oh, okay, great. So my question is, if I work out late in the day, but I have trouble falling asleep, how do I overcome that?
Sorry, I
So
didn't get.
yeah, the question was that when he works out towards the afternoon, was it that you have trouble
Or
falling
late evening?
late evening that he has trouble falling asleep? So what do we think about that?
That is like, are you doing overtraining, or is it with just the normal 3-4 days per week, with like 40 to like maximum 1 hour of session? So how is your schedule actually? That depends on the schedule. And basically, ideally, the research says, and the recommendation is the best time to do the exercise is in the morning, but towards the evening also you can still do the exercise, there's no problem. But mainly, if you start overtraining, then that is not a good thing. So the overtraining can cause sleep disturbances, problems in the sleep patterns. So that depends on your training schedules and your the rest of the, and for the sleep also there are other factors that are affecting, especially your chronotype, your diet, your other schedules, and the all the other factors, and your previous the day, like those kind of uh, things. So there's a lot of factors affecting when it comes to the sleep disturbances. It's not only the exercise. So if it is exercise, it's basically the overtraining can lead to sleep disturbances. But like that's how it goes. So without knowing that much of details about your chronotype and the rest of the details, it will be difficult for me to tell whether it's exactly because of your exercising in the afternoon that you are not getting a proper sleep, or it could be due to other reasons as well.
Thank you, madam. I'll tell you more details offline. Thank you.
So actually, since we're on that topic, I'm very glad to see that we opened with an
Yes,
interesting
that's very
question.
nice.
Yeah, so a couple of things were like when we were also learning about lifestyle medicine, what we were told was when you tend to exercise a little later in the evening, it takes a bit more time for your core body temperature to drop. And in order for you to start, getting into your sleep, your core body temperature needs to drop at least about 1 degree Celsius. So if you sort of like done a lot of vigorous workout, that might take longer. So that can be one of the reasons that it's difficult to fall asleep. But that being said, one of the big research paper that came out last year said that it is, there are people who can sort of have a late evening workout and that they can fall asleep easily, more easier. And so that again comes down to what Gihani said, like multiple factors. Okay, so we're going to come back to Gihani. And so this is like a very busy schedule, but still you like exercise and you make time for it. So what motivates you, Gihani?
There are a couple of reasons, Rasari. It's like basically being on this physiology, right? I'm a physiologist and I'm teaching the health sciences students. So with my knowledge on the subject, I admired or I learned the health benefit of exercises, and then with that health background knowledge, I realized that from my family, I have this genetical susceptibility for the cardiovascular diseases and the diabetes, especially my parents and grandparents. All are like having this problem of non communicable diseases, especially diabetes and cholesterol. And also from the childhood itself, I'm always towards these overweight or obese kid. I have always been like that from the childhood. So I have a tendency to become obese, um, probably through the genetic and the other environmental influences. So my knowledge and the background on these health sciences and the health benefits on this particular subject is the main motivator for me to do the exercises. And then I realize when I'm kind of a foodie as well, and then I realize if I go ahead with a regular exercise, I don't have to cut down on food too much so that I can still enjoy a reasonable amount of food while maintaining my body the body weight. And also on other hand, I don't know whether this is a good thing or bad thing, but this is about myself. So when I'm in good shape, it actually boosts my confidence. And also when it comes to my work efficiency, I can work efficiently, I can handle the stress better, I can handle the pressure and the deadlines and everything better when I'm in good shape. And also fitting into smaller clothes, it reduces my stress level a lot. So it gives me like a really good comfort. And also when I'm in good shape, like I personally feel, and I got some compliments, and I become really appealing to people and especially to the students, so that they are really interested in the subject matter and how I get into the shape and how I'm managing these things. So all those things, apart from my knowledge on sciences or the health benefits, all those social factors also keeps on motivating me towards exercise. And then the other thing, I inherently have some sort of a likeness towards the fitness and sports and going into the gym. So that also keeps me going on. And with this is what I have achieved so far, right? So this is during just after the opening of our workplace. After the COVID outbreak, we were confined to the homes, and this is how I looked like. That is when I was 34 years old. And then, with the proper diet and the exercise, the regular exercise schedules, by December 2023, this is how I look like. And since y'all don't see me in person, I put this recent picture a few days ago, right? So this is how I look like. So basically, from this point, I was able to go into this level, which was seen in the third photograph. So I really, really experience how the exercises have benefited me, not only in terms of body shape or weight management, but also in other aspects of my social and the psychological uh, life as well.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us, and especially about being really honest as to what motivates you to exercise. Because I think having this kind of awareness, whatever health change we make, having this kind of awareness as to why exactly we are doing what we are doing can really help. And to be kind of very honest about it and not sort of, tell yourself this story that, okay, this is how you used to be, or not like that. And even not about what you can be in the future, but to actually accept where you are right now. It's really inspiring. It's very motivating. And thank you for sharing that with us. So added to this, would you be comfortable telling us the gas cylinder story? Because I found that very inspiring.
Yes, that's the gas cylinder story. Actually, like when I was starting my exercises, I was more into these aerobics or the cardio. Then I just hired a personal trainer so that it gives me some kind of a, like, when I hire, like when I pay for a personal trainer, like I must go and like cover those sessions. And this personal trainer, he was insisting me to do some strength training as well. So I have started doing the strength training about 6-7 months back. And this is after, like immediately after the out of the season, my mother said that her gas cylinder was over, and she was in a real, like, that is somewhere around 7:30 in the night, and like she was in a real need of a new gas cylinder. So me and my sister, we went to uh, one of these grocery shops where the gas cylinders were available. And by that time, the shop was about to close, so they were like switching off the light which is outside, but there were one light was there, so it's like kind of not too light or not too dark, that kind of a situation. And then, like, anyway, since it is immediately after the Aurudu, most of those gas cylinder shops were closed. So we were just going round and round to find the gas cylinder, and then ended up in this shop which was about to close. So we were like, I was in a really happy mood, and then I paid the money, and then I just got the empty cylinder and gave it to that the lady. And then the lady, she pulled the new cylinder, which was the biggest one, 12.5 kg gas cylinder out. She just uh, put it on the like the ground, and like there was another gentleman who was coming into the grocery store, and he was like, since I'm a lady, like he was like kind of willing to help me to put that gas cylinder into my vehicle. But anyway, like all of a sudden I just carried the gas cylinder in my two arms, without any support, and then I put it into in the back of my vehicle, and then I just closed the door, and I just looked. Then I saw my sister. She was like she was surprised. And the lady of that particular grocery store, she was also really like surprised and staring at me. And that lady's husband was also there. And he was asking me, are you Chamariyatapattu? Then initially I thought that he was just asking it for fun. Then I said, no, I'm not Chamariyatapattu. Then he was telling, no, you're Chamariyatapattu, right? So like the wife was also pretty confused and saying, නෑ මෙයා Chamariyatapattu වෙන්න බැහැ. But her husband was kind of like really sure that I must be Shamariyatapattu. But anyway, I said thank you, I'm not Shamariyatapattu, and then I just wished them good night and came back. And then on the way, my sister was telling, like I was just carrying the gas cylinder without any problem. It's just looked like something like very light. The way I was carrying the gas cylinder, everybody was amazed because I was holding it like something which is very light in my arms, and putting it in the back of the vehicle, you need to have some sort of a grip and just put it. So I did that. So then I realized with the strength training how much of strength I have gained over uh, these few months, and I realized the importance of incorporating strength training and doing a proper strength training, which is going to be really helpful in our day-to-day life. So that was the story.
Oh, thank you for sharing that anecdote with us. Yeah, so the floor is yours. Tell us all about exercise.
Yes, thank you. So here we have, like, since we have a really professional audience, we all know that when it comes to the physical activity or doing exercise, it has like many health benefits that are proven through the scientific evidence. So, for example, when it comes to the physical activity, it increases the muscular and cardiovascular fitness, and it improve the bone health and reduce the risk of fall. And when it comes to the chronic diseases or non-communicable diseases, it reduces the risk of non-communicable diseases, and also it has shown some proven benefits towards the breast and colonic cancers, and also some neurological conditions like depression. And it's also really helpful to control and maintain a healthy body weight. And it is also helping us to reduce the anxiety, depression, and the negative moods. And on the other hand, it is proven to improve the self-esteem and the cognitive function as well. So these kind of health benefits, there are like enough scientific evidence showing the health benefits of the physical activity. And this article, which was very recently published in the Nature, the review article, it nicely explains the physiological mechanism which causes these health benefits. So, what happens is when we are doing, whether it's acute or chronic exercises, when we are doing exercises from multiple tissues of our body, a group of chemicals which they have named as exocrines are secreted. And these exocrines, they are going to go and act on different systems and the organs in our body, and producing certain health benefits. For example, once these exocrines, once they go and act on the heart and the cardiovascular system, it produces cardioprotective effects by enhancing the vascularization and angiogenesis, and it helps to improve the blood pressure, and it improves the endothelial function so that it exerts a cardioprotective action. And on the other hand, when these exocrines goes and acts on the adipose tissue, there it increases the fatty acid uptake and enhances the lipolysis and the thermogenesis, and it's improving the glucose metabolism in our body. And on when these exocrines act on the pancreas, it enhances the viability and influences the viability of the beta cells of the pancreas, and it influences the insulin secretion so that it helps to reduce the risk of type 2 diabetic mellitus. And also when it acts on the liver, it enhances the glucose metabolism and the fatty acid uptake by the liver. And on the other hand, it also, these exocrines, they go and act on the skeletal muscles and enhances certain biological processes involving the glucose uptake, lipid oxidation, mitochondrial biogenesis, and the capillarization. So all those, on the other hand, it goes and acts on the nervous system and produces the neurogenesis, and it increases the synaptic plasticity so that it helps to helps for the better cognition and better mood, and it gives some protection against the depression and all. And also it goes and acts on the immune system, especially the chronic exercise. With the chronic exercise, it has shown that the exocrines will go and act on the immune system and helps reducing the systemic and tissue inflammation. So with these like a group of chemicals called exocrines, which are going and which are secreted in response to exercise from our body. So it's nicely shown that the group of chemicals, the exocrines, they are associated with improving the cardiovascular, metabolic, immune, and neurological health of our body, and also they are supporting to facilitate the healthy aging of the body. So in all aspects, the benefits of the exercise inside the body, those are brought about these groups of chemicals, exocrines. So I have shared the reference for this article, and it nicely explains the examples of the exocrines and what does they do, and the detailed molecular mechanism, and some of the molecular mechanisms still those are not unrevealed, but especially regarding the cardiovascular benefits of the exocrines, the most of the information is available. So if you are interested in reading more about this physiological mechanism, I'll share this article on the chat box so that you can have a look. So basically, with the proven scientific evidence, what it says, the overall benefits of the exercise, it comes through these group of chemicals called exocrines, which are released in response to either acute or chronic exercises, and they are going to affect on multiple tissues and protecting the cardiovascular system, and it increases the reduces the risk of insulin resistance and enhances the metabolism inside the body. So with these things, that is basically the science behind the health benefits of the exercise in like really brief terms within the available time. So I want to discuss this topic since everybody of us are having a same like the base, the scientific and the health background. I wanted to talk to you all on this topic in a more practical aspects with the physical activity, exercise, and more practical things. So when it comes to the physical activity and the exercise, it's not the same. right? So any body movement that we do through the skeletal muscle contractions that causes some sort of energy expenditure beyond the baseline, we called it as a physical activity. Right, so if you are doing your daily household work, probably the cooking, cleaning, or when you are working, you walk here and there, and those kind of day-to-day activities, any form of activity that causes a skeletal muscle contraction is a physical activity. But all physical activities are not capable of producing a health benefit, because your physical activity should fall within this physically active category, where you will do either a moderate or vigorous level of physical activity if you want to get the health benefits out of your physical activity. And your physical activity level, if it is insufficient or if you remain inactive, then you will not gain the benefits of this physical activity. But again, even if you can't reach this level, the physically active level, but still, if you are managing at an insufficient level, that is better than the inactive level. Right? So, the recommendation is, even if you can't meet the exact guideline which produces the health benefits, still, rather than not doing anything, if you do something, that is going to produce some kind of a health benefit. So, like at least doing it a little bit is better than not doing anything, right? So when it comes to the physical activity, based on the nature of the physical activity, we categorize whether you are physically active. So basically, if you are into at least 150 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous physical activity, then you are considered as physically active. So if you are less than that, you are considered as insufficient. And if you don't do any sort of moderate or vigorous physical activity, you are categorized as inactive. So I want you all to take a few seconds and think about yourself and just try to identify which category you falls in. If you fall into a physically active category, you can achieve the health benefits. But if you remain in the inactive category, then you may have to seriously think about it and adjust your lifestyle accordingly. And how do you know whether it's actually a moderate or a vigorous physical activity that you are engaged in? It's very simple, right? So, if it is a moderate level of physical activity, while doing the activity, you will be able to talk and hold a short conversation. For example, very like a brisk walking, or when you are doing these moderate household chores like washing windows, when you are doing vacuuming, mopping, right? Those kind of activities falls under the moderate physical activity, and the sports such as badminton, tennis, light cycling, those kind of things falls into a moderate category. And while doing that activity, if it is difficult for you to speak more than a sentence, like when you are doing jogging, or when you are doing challenging household chores, or when you are just cycling really fast, or if you are engaged in sports like basketball, soccer, hockey, whatever those kind of sports, then you can't speak more than few words or a sentence while you are doing the activity. So that is your vigorous level of physical activity. So once you know this guideline, it's very easy for you to decide whether what kind of a physical activity that you are involved in on day-to-day basis, and you can do a self-assessment about the level of your physical activity. So, when it comes to the physical activity and the exercise is basically a purposeful physical activity that will happen in a more organized, planned, and a manner, and it's basically recurring. And we are doing it to improve or maintain one or more component of the health. And when it comes to the exercise, there are four main types of exercise. The aerobic exercises, that is really, really important to improve your cardiorespiratory health or the cardiorespiratory endurance. And this is the one which lowers the risk of cardiovascular diseases. And the second form is strength training or strength or resistant exercises, which is important to improve your muscle strength and the endurance. And this is basically associated with reduced body fat, improving the weight maintenance, and also it reduces the risk of injuries, risk of falls, and the back pains, and it improves your bone health as well. And the third type is the flexibility exercise. And when it comes to the flexibility exercise, there are two types: the static flexibility exercise and dynamic flexibility exercise, which I'll show you. And basically, those are specific to each joint, and it will help you to improve the joint mobility. And then we have the balance exercises, so that you will be able to better balance when you are stationary or when you are moving. You will be able to balance your body, and you reduce the risk of injuries from the falls through proper balance, right? Other than that, these are the main types of exercises that that should be contained within a regular exercise schedule. So with my life, I'll show you few examples how I cover these components or these different types of exercises. So meantime, I want you all to think about yourselves and see what are the aerobic exercises you are doing, what are the strength exercises you are doing, what are the balancing exercises you are doing. Just take a minute to reflect on yourselves as well. Right. So when it comes to the aerobic exercise, that is basically a physical activity, a purposeful physical activity that uses a large groups of muscles in our body, and it's rhythmic and repetitive, and you can adjust the intensity of that workout. And my favorite workout for this the aerobic is the Zumba fitness. And this is how my aerobic training goes. So basically, this is a form of dance fitness, a aerobic form of exercise, and we start with a very light intensity, and then we go up into a higher intensity, then it comes down. Likewise, it has that fluctuation. And the other types of cardio exercises includes the running, brisk walking, cycling, swimming, dancing, kickboxing. So you have lot of options for these aerobic exercises, and depending on your likeness, depending on your logistics, you have ample of options to choose. So if you don't want one option, probably you can go one day you can do cycling, second day you can go, another day you can go for kickboxing, another day you can go for a running. Likewise, you can have like very interesting a schedule or options for these aerobic exercises, since many options are available. And the other thing is that you can engage in workout in a group setting, so that you can get your husband or the wife or the partner and your family members involved with these, your friends involved with these workout sessions. So it's going to be more beneficial and more enjoyable. And then this is about the strength trainings, and this is the strength trainings that I do. So I started at like this with a very lower level of strength training with the squats. And basically, when it comes to the strength training, it can be done using multiple options. So this strength training is an example for what we do. And this is my favorite, the deadlift. So that's actually 80 kilos deadlift. So that at the moment I'm at that level and I'm planning to improve myself further slowly. So this is how the strength training can be done in a really wonderful manner in the gym setup. And if you don't have time or like logistic to hit into a gym, I'll show you some options, some other options that are available, so that you can do it at your home or at your garden or whatever the place that you like. Still, the strength training can be done. I'll show you some examples in coming slides. And when it comes to the balancing, so this is how my balancing exercises
Smile
will go.
upon her face, me know she pleased with this eyes. Coming around to make them gyal a roll out them eyes. Go down there, why not go down there? Go down there, why not go?
And then this is how the stretching exercises go. So I told you that there are two types of stretching. The dynamic stretching, where you will be stretching the joints and while making a movement. And the static stretching, you stretch and you are not going to make any movement. At that stretched position, you are going to hold that stretch for a little while. And then you are going to release that stretch. So the basic recommendation before you start your workout, you will be better to do the dynamic stretching, and after the workout, better to do the static stretching. So that is the recommendation. So this is called the Bose pose, and basically even the health benefits of the stretching and this Bose pose is also nicely documented with scientific evidence in the literature. And the other thing when it comes to the exercise, something that is very important is the warm up and the cool down. Right. So before you start your workout or the exercise, you need to go ahead with a warm up session so that your body prepared for the exercise. Because when you do exercise, lot of like the demands are high, so that your heart, your respiratory system, and your other the muscles, the blood flow to the muscles, everything realizes now you are going to go ahead with your exercises, so that they get ready for you to support with your exercises, so that you physiologically and psychologically you are preparing your body for the bouts of exercise. So usually there are different protocols for the warm up. Either you can start, if you are doing your aerobic session, you can start with a low intensity, and within 5 to 10 minutes time you can increase the intensity of your aerobic exercise, if it is on the treadmill or if it is running or if it is cycling. You start slower, and within 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, you increase the intensity. Or you can start with a dynamic stretching session which lasts for about 5 to 10. That will also serve as a very good warm up. And then you're going to go ahead with your whatever like the exercise schedule, whether it's aerobic one or a strength training session or a combined one. And then you are going to go into at the end, once you finish your exercise session, then again it's very important to go ahead with a cool down session, so that it reduces your heart rate, it reduces your respiratory rate, and it gradually cools the body temperature, and then it brings your muscles and the muscles into their optimal length tension relationship, and also it prevents the venous pooling of blood in the lower extremities, and it restores all the physiological parameters towards the resting or the baseline level, so that it's a must after exercise that you have to go for a proper cool down. So your cool down, again, it can be, if it is a aerobic session, you can gradually decrease the intensity of your aerobic exercise within 5 to 10 minutes. You can reduce it, and then you can, or else you can go ahead with a dynamic stretching. Right, so like you can go for one day, you can go for a aerobic type of a one. Second day you can go for a static stretching session. Likewise, you can choose. But however, your workout is also important. Before the workout, warm up. At the end of the workout, cool down. Then only it gives your body the maximum benefits of exercise. So like Dr. Dushi said, like he was like mentioning that the sleep problems, and Rasari was mentioning about getting the core body temperature, the cooling of the core body temperature. So probably another reason could be lack of proper cool down after the exercise, which will impair the body temperature, dropping of the core body temperature, bringing the sleep into the play. That is also a possibility. And when it comes to the physical activity, basically the physical activity guidelines are published. So this is the guideline, the physical activity guideline for the Americans, 2018 guideline. Here, this guideline is basically for the adults, and there are separate guidelines for children, older adults, and special populations such as pregnant or postpartum mothers, people with chronic diseases. Depending on their situation, the different guidelines are available. So this is basically healthy adult guideline, which says the aerobic exercises, basically if it is 150 minutes of moderate intensity workout per week, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity exercise, or a combination of both. So there's no strict hard and fast rules. You have that freedom, you have that flexibility. Go ahead with something really interesting that you like, something that matches your schedule, because it's either moderate or vigorous, or you can choose to do a combination of moderate and vigorous exercise in a really interesting manner. And the strength training at least 2 times per week, and the flexibility basically 2 to 3 days per week. And it has to be done for about 10 minutes, and there are certain guidelines. And when it comes to the balance exercises, there's no specified duration or time frame, but it says that at least better to do some form of balancing exercises 3 times per week. And when it comes to the WHO guideline, that is also pretty similar to the PAGA 2018 guideline, and it says at least limit the sedentary time. Every movement count. If you can't achieve the recommended level, at least limit the sedentary time and replace your sedentary time with some form of physical activity, because every move count and every move is going to bring a health benefit. And basically, these are their recommendations for the pregnant and postpartum mothers: 150 minutes per week, and for the adults and older adults, 150 to 300 minutes per week, and for the children, 60 minutes per day. And the strength training, 2 days, at least 2 days per week. And for the older adults, at least 3 days per week. And then for better health, it's better to engage in more than 30 minutes of regular exercise per 300 minutes of regular exercise per week. So once you look at these recommendations, or these the time durations, it's actually a small fraction of time which is required for us to do the exercise, probably 45 minutes a day, or maximum 1 hour per day. Exercise is going to bring you the health benefits. And my problem is, like our people, we are reluctant to spend or commit that 1 hour, considering our health benefits, considering the economical and the psychological well-being it brings, still we are very, very reluctant to spend that fraction of time in doing some form of exercise. And once you do the exercise in proper manner, you will achieve this physical fitness level. There, you will be able to perform daily activities. You will be able to respond to emergencies, and you will be able to perform leisure activities with sufficient energy and vitality without excess fatigue. So that is the end results of your exercise and physical activity. You will reach the physical fitness. And when it comes to the physical fitness, we have health related physical fitness, which is very important for all of us, which is related to performing the daily activities, and it is associated with lower prevalence of disease. And this includes the body composition, cardiorespiratory endurance, muscular strength, and the flexibility. And especially for the sports people, they are talking about these skill related physical fitness, which is basically related to movements necessary to perform the specific motor skills, which includes the agility, coordination, balance, power, reaction time, and speed. But again, if you do the exercises on regular basis, and when you progress through your exercise schedules, then you will also be able to achieve these the skill related physical fitness parameters as well, even if you are not a sports person. But these things will also improve as you are progressing through your exercise programs in regular manner. Now, when it comes to a lifestyle medicine practitioner, the physical activity and the physical fitness, it's important for us in two aspects. One is, as a practitioner, you should be able to guide your patients or the clients through the pathway of physical activity. So, the lifestyle medicine gives a very good recommendation on how to integrate this physical activity assessment into clinical practice. So it says, consider physical activity as a vital sign. So when you get a patient, you check for their vitals. So that vitals include the physical activity. So we are going to check the weight of the patient, the physical activity level, and the associated health risk. And then you are going to calculate the physical activity vital sign by multiplying days per week of aerobic physical activity by the minutes of aerobic physical activity, so that you know your client or the patient's physical activity vital sign. And with that vital sign, you are going to identify whether the person is physically active. So if the person is physically active, your life is going to be really easy. All you have to do, you are going to congratulate the patient for being physically active, and you are going to check whether he's getting enough aerobic activities as per the recommendation, enough strength training, and like the enough balancing and flexibility exercises. You just check their schedule, and if the schedule have some lapses, you are going to do some adjustments and give a best schedule in order to meet the previous guidelines that I told you about. And once you calculate the physical activity vital sign, if your patient falls into the insufficient category, insufficiently active category, then you are going to inform your client that you are falling into this category, and you guide them to acknowledge the fact they are physically insufficient. And then you have to determine their readiness to change. And depending on the level of their readiness to change, you are going to offer them the support in order to transform their insufficiently active lifestyle into a physical activity level. And then if once you calculate it, if it says it's inactive, then again you have to like let them acknowledge the fact, and then determine the readiness, and you need to offer the support to transform this inactive patient into a physically active level. And then before like while you're doing those things, if you can consider, especially if the patient is having cardiovascular or metabolic risk factors, it's always good to go ahead with, and especially if the patient has never exercised and it's very new to these physical activity and being really, really sedentary, then it's always better to go ahead with a medical clearance before you prescribe any form of exercise to this patient, so that and if the person is having some form of fitness level, then you can even consider doing a fitness testing, and then you know where the person exactly stands, and depending on the fitness level of the person, you can prescribe the schedules. Likewise, you can think about those aspects as well before you prescribe, before you incorporate physical activity into their lifestyles. And when it comes to the prescribing the exercise to the patient, you have to do it in a really thorough manner, because you know that our people, they are very good and very good in following the instructions, so that you have to give the instructions in a really, really proper manner. So the lifestyle medicine says you can follow this fit VP format when writing the exercise prescription. Right, so like the nowadays the physios also, they usually go ahead with this fit VP format when writing the exercise prescription. As far as I know, they are knowledgeable on this, and not many sports people in our country are knowledgeable on this basically. And we lifestyle medicine people, we are also following the same format, which includes the frequency of the exercise, intensity of the exercise, and time or the duration of the exercise, type of the exercise, volume, and the progression. So it includes all the details, so that once your client or the patient reads this prescription, he exactly knows what to do, how long, how many times per week, how many what is the total volume or the amount, and how I'm going to progress in this particular exercise schedule. So he knows everything. It's very clear, and without any sort of problem, the patient can nicely follow your exercise prescription and go ahead with the exercise. I was actually thinking to do some activities regarding the exercise prescriptions, and included some case studies, but based on my record, the time is actually flying, so that I'll post these on the chat box, so that you can just try going through these case studies and issuing two exercise prescriptions for these hypothetical persons, the Damit and we have another nice lady, right? So your challenge is like from the physically inactive level, if you want to transform this person into a physically active level, during the initial stage, you need to prepare this person for the to do the exercise. It's not actually person is going to do the exercise. You are preparing the patient so that the person will minimize the muscle soreness, discomfort, the risk of injuries, and everything. So you are going to start very slower with the aerobic exercise for about 15 minutes per day, 3 to 4 times a week, and you are going to watch how the person is doing and increase or the progress the time. And then once the person passes the initial stage, you are going to go for the improvement stage. There you are going to look at the individual fitness levels, and you are going to incorporate aerobic, strength training, flexibility, balance, everything, and you are going to look at the person and the improvements he is making and adjust it every 6th week. And once you do those things, the person will come to a state where he will be able to do it, sustain it. That is your maintenance stage. So this is the second case study. We have this model who needs to improve her fitness further and requesting an exercise prescription from y'all. So y'all can issue an exercise prescription to her later. And then when you want to, so the end results of this case study is that she's actually doing her aerobic exercise pretty well. What she's lacking is the strength training. So when it comes to the strength training, basically when you want to add the strength training into the exercise prescriptions, this is the recommendation. So basically it's going to be 2 to 3 times per week, and it's going to be non-consecutive days each week. And based the intensity you are going to go based on the level of the person, whether it's a newbie or whether it's the intermediate level or whether it's a pro, and you are going to prescribe moderate to hard level, but always the last repetition of that exercise should be difficult. And there's no specific duration. And basically, it's good to target multiple joints and the muscle group using a single exercise. And it will go towards like 8 to 12 reps and 2 to 4 sets. In between, there's like 2 to 3 minutes rest. And it's really, really essential to have at least 48 hours of recovery between the sessions, right? So this is very important. And with time, when the person improves, you can see the gradual progression. So these are some form of strength trainings that you can do. So this is the strength training that we could do in the gym using certain different machines. And since you all have seen the machines, I'll just show you the second one, because for the strength training, so these are called the resistant bands, right? So if you don't want to struggle with these the gym equipments and all, you have different types of resistant bands that are indicated for the exercises of the different muscle groups. So you can get some idea, and then you can have these resistant bands at your home and do the resistant training at home, which is going to be a form of a resistant exercise. And this is again my favorite. Or else you can use these kettlebells or dumbbells. Again, like you can have few pieces at your home and you can go ahead and do the resistance training at your home. That is also possible if you don't want to struggle with the machines. You have lot of options to do the strength training as well. For the special populations, the exercise prescriptions, you can issue exercise prescriptions based on the recommendations that are published. And so now you can think about, since you all have already thought about your level of physical activity, if you are going to improve further, now you know how to do that. What are the aerobic options available? What are the strength training options available? How to do the balancing, how to do the flexibility training and everything, so that you can plan your physical activity or the exercise schedule in a really interesting manner. And when it comes to the exercise, so this is for y'all or to your patients. When you think in the shoes of your patient, you will realize that many people, when you say for them to do the exercises, they will come up with many, many, many reasons not to do the exercise. One of the most important thing, including ourselves, we say lack of time. We don't have time to do exercise. We are really busy people. We have been doing a lot of things. We are looking after families, our kids, so that we don't have time to engage in exercise, right? So that is the biggest excuse that people will come up with. And then there will be like parenting demands, lack of energy, maybe your health conditions. And believe me, if you want to hit a gym, or if you want to hire a personal trainer, or if you want to purchase sports clothes, sports shoes, because that is also important, and some exercise equipments, that is also going to be a quite big financial commitment. So that is also a barrier. And the gender stereotyping, it's basically the men will hit the gym, the ladies, it's not good good to go to the gyms and all. And the culture and the attitude, especially if you are a mother and if you are going to the gym, like the people will start thinking, oh my God, that mother doesn't love their kids. So that the time she has to spend with their kids, she's spending it outside in the gym. So she's not a good mother. Likewise, those kind of culture, attitudes, you have to overcome so much of things if you really, really want to exercise in a proper manner. And for me, once I look at those reasons and the excuses people say, what I believe is the lack of time is the biggest excuse and it's the biggest lie, right? Because if you take in terms of time commitment, all you need is 150 minutes per week. So if you dedicate 30 minutes of your day to do exercise, or if it is the vigorous training, if you dedicate only 15 minutes per day for the physical activity, within a week, within 5 days, you achieve the recommended level. So that's just 30 minutes is a fraction of time. 15 minutes is even less fraction of time. So how can a person say that they don't have time? 30 minutes, you don't have 30 minutes, you don't have 15 minutes, you don't have 25 minutes to do the exercise. It's basically a biggest lie in order to cover up their lack of motivation, right? So what they are lacking is the motivation to do the exercise, but they are covering up with lack of time. Right, so this is my observation based on the people that I deal with, and based on the literature and everything, right? So it's not actually the lack of time, it's the lack of motivation that keeps us prevented from doing exercise. So basically, when you want to do a exercise, it's mainly that your exercise need to be fun and enjoyable, right? So if you like something, no matter what, you will find some time to do that. So why not make your exercise something you like? If you like it, definitely you will dedicate that 15 minutes, that 30 minutes to do the exercise. So you have to, since you have many options available, you can make the exercise fun and enjoyable. And if you are a newbie, you can start slower, and then you should know what you are doing, whether to walk or jog or to run, or whether to cycle or go for a swimming, based on the medical conditions you have, based on your body weight, based on your overall fitness. You should know what you are doing, because if you ended up doing something unnecessarily, you will end up in having injuries, and then the muscle soreness, back pains and everything, and that itself prevent you doing from further exercise. And then it's very important to have the proper attire if you want to exercise, but like the invest on your shoes, right? So don't wear these kind of, really, since you're going into the jogging track, don't wear those like worn off shoes to go to the jogging track, because you're going to look after your health. So invest on a good pair of shoes in order to safeguard your health, in order to safeguard your knees. Like wear proper shoes and do whatever the exercise you are doing. And if you think that your partner is also interested, your friends and the family is going to help you not to waste your time, then you can invite them to join your exercise schedule. But you have to make sure that you are not going to gossip around, that you are not going to call around, that you are not going to call, that you are not going to share your day. Like, it's basically to do the exercise only, you are networking and you are grouping up with your partner or your friends. And then you have to avoid those kind of distractors. If you are dedicating 15 minutes for the exercise, make sure that you do exercise within that 15 minutes, not the gossiping, not the Facebook browsing, not the any other types of distractors. Like for me, when I hit to the gym, right, I just put my phone in the silent mode, and then, like, until I finish my workout, I'm not going to look at the phone, right? So after that 1 hour only, I'm coming back and checking my phones for all the phone calls and everything, because that is how I avoid the distractors and keep concentrating. Probably that could be one reason that my work efficiency increases, so that I'm concentrating and avoiding. I'm learning to concentrate, avoiding distractors. And then you need to have some targets, and you have to be really, really patient, and you have to reward yourself in order to, once you are making a progress, you have to make yourself happy, reward yourself, and then you can keep on doing this in a consistent manner. And then when, like I said, when it come to the exercise, gym is not the only option, because some people, they don't like go to the gym. Some feel really, really uncomfortable inside the gym. So if you feel like gym is not the right place, you have ample of options such as the park. Right? So this is.
You gotta get on the floor. If you're a party freak, then step on the floor. If you're an animal, then tear up the.
This is the Bell and Willow jogging park, and basically I'm doing my workout time to time. Just to want, when I need a change, I go there and do the exercise, and nobody is going to watch you. Nobody is going to laugh at you. Nobody is going to even bother about you. You can do your like whatever the exercise in a safer way without any problem in the parks. And here. I'm really sorry about that choice of song, right? That is to fit into the TikTok audience. But this is again in Maldives. So I was in a tour, and I make sure that even I was in a vacation tour, still I made sure that I go ahead with my exercise schedule. And they had these nice parks with the equipped equipment, so that we could do these exercises nicely. And if you still don't like going to the parks, gyms, and then you can choose to go for a group fitness session. You can get together with your friends, or the group fitness class, which is closer to your place. And like, many options are available, so that you can choose either a indoor or outdoor group fitness session. That is like just basically they go for about 1 hour, so that if you go for a 3 days per week, that's going to help you a lot. And this is how I helped my colleagues at the workplace. So I just introduced a Zumba fitness program for the students and the lecturers or the staff at my faculty, so that they can overcome their sedentary behavior. And this is how it goes on. And if you still don't want to go to a gym or a group fitness session, and if you are too busy to leave your home, then still you have some options, because some online coaching is available, right? So that you can hire a personal trainer online, or you can go through these fitness apps, and some group fitness classes are conducted online, so that you can do it at your ease, at your home. Right? So many options are available. It's that what you need is your motivation. And once you have that motivation, you can choose from these options, and you can somehow spend at least 30 minutes a day doing exercise. Right? So when it comes to the exercise, the talking about exercise is not that enough. And we have been sedentary, physically inactive for a little time. So I want everybody to stretch your hands, stretch your backs, and then just stretch your body a little bit. And then stand up from your places, and you can increase your volume and get ready to go on a small physical activity session online. Okay, if you want to switch on your cameras, you're most welcome to do that. Right, so that I'll be removing this. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. how the sessions, the group fitness sessions looks like. And I hope with this session now you all got multiple options um, about working out, not to escape the exercises or working out any longer, since you have multiple options which you can do and which you can prescribe to your patients. So I think I took little bit of extra time, isn't it, Rasari?
Oh, that's all right, Gihani. I think it's very important that we kind of got the full picture of what really exercise can be and not just to cardio as we usually tend to think. So thank you very much for taking us through all of that, all of the tips and the components and the interesting videos. So to make sure that, we want to motivate our friends, but to make sure that, they don't hurt themselves. So we just like to reiterate that, if you've never worked out before, probably don't go straight away into like a vigorous kind of like an activity. You can try your light activity and then move on to moderate. And if you have any symptoms or cardiovascular metabolic diseases, it's always good to sort of, to first like get yourself checked up and make sure that it's safe for you to work out. And also, like sometimes we are prone to these bouts of motivation where we suddenly, you go to the gym and then you work out really hard for about 1.5 hours and then you never go to the gym again because that's so tiring. That also is, counterintuitive in the long run. So yeah, like slow and smooth is okay. What we need to focus is on consistency. Um, Thank you so much for that. Yeah, any questions? Do we have any questions?
Yeah, I shared the article. If anybody wants to read the article regarding the physiological mechanisms of the benefits of exercise, it's already there in the chat box.
Thank you so much for that. So it's there, guys, in the chat box, the research articles that Gihani took us through with the physiology related to exercise. So feel free to share it with your friends as well, because still, even now, many people might think that exercise is just there to help you lose and maintain weight, but actually exercise is so much more than that, and exercise is actually a medicine. So feel free to take a look at it and share that with friends and colleagues. Yeah, so I have also at the same time put on a regular feedback form so that you can give us some feedback. It will help us future sessions. It will just take about 3 minutes of your time, just 3 questions. So any questions for Gihani before we wrap up? Can take a couple of minutes. Any questions? No? Okay, well, any thoughts from you, Gihani, before we wrap up?
I really hope that this would help everybody in a more practical way, how the things are happening and what options are available, so that once you don't know the options, you tend to not to do that. So my purpose of today's session is to show you the options, and then how it can make the exercise is it's going to be really fun and enjoyable way you can obtain the health benefits of exercise, rather than making it a burden or something mandatory in our life. Once you make it as a leisure activity, with this background understanding, it will give a great benefit. So I really hope that everybody enjoys it and got some idea and some motivation towards incorporating exercise into their busy lives. And this is going to be helpful for their when they're prescribing exercises to the patients as well. And it's really nice to see the comments. Thank you so much, Dr. Dushi, Dr. Ravindra. Thank you so much for your comments. So I really, really enjoy doing it, and nice to see this interactive audience as well.
Thank you, Gyali. Thank you for your comments, and thank you to our friends for participating in this session. So this brings us to the end of Hangout number 7. In a couple of weeks' time, we are going to have actually our last Hangout for this season. That is Hangout number 8. After that, we'll take a bit of a break and rebrand and go through all the feedback that you've given us and elevate, change our settings and our setup and come to you with a better a program and so that we can evolve as we go along. So thank you so much, and I wish you good night and have a wonderful week ahead, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
And thank you very much, Rasari, for all your inviting me and helping me with this. So I really enjoyed. I totally forget to mention your name previously. Thank you so much for everything, Rasari, organizing it really well.
No worries, my pleasure. Thank you very much, guys, and good night.